T calmly claimed he has no fear of his past and is fully focused on the future. But that one statement sparked attention in hip-hop that goes far deeper than music. Respect, ego, and image are everything, and 50 Cent wasn't going to let that slide. He abruptly reposted the Crime Stoppers video along with old courtroom footage, flipping the narrative and turning what could have been casual versus chatter into a psychological chess match. Fans were divided. Some saw it as classic trolling, others as a calculated power move. T.I.'s response was just as strategic, refusing to hide from his past, owning it, and choosing to move forward fearlessly. While 50 Cent continued to manipulate perception and control the conversation from a distance, every clip, caption, and repost added a layer to the story, turning social media into a battlefield where the audience itself shaped the debate. This wasn't just about a confrontation, it was a lesson in legacy, influence, and survival. One uses visibility and action to assert relevance, the other uses memory and timing to maintain authority. Who really holds the power, T facing forward or 50 Cent controlling the narrative? The answer isn't simple, and the tension is far from over. T.I.'s calm declaration that he has no fear of his past instantly set the stage for a deeper clash in hip-hop culture where image, respect, and public perception are currency. What might have seemed like a casual comment quickly became a spark igniting old tensions, as fans and followers realized that this was not just about music but about control, legacy, and influence. 50 Cent's response was immediate and precise. By reposting the Crime Stoppers video along with archival courtroom footage, he reframed the conversation, demonstrating that he never plays the game by conventional rules. The narrative shifted from a potential versus debate to a psychological exchange, with both artists asserting their philosophy on how the past should influence the present. T.I. chose transparency and composure, owning his history without defensiveness, showing that strength lies in acknowledgement and progression. He emphasized that fear only controls those who try to hide from their story, while 50 Cent used selective memory as a tactical weapon, resurfacing past moments to manipulate audience perception and maintain authority. Fans began dissecting every post, clip, and caption, fueling discussion and turning social media into a proving ground where perception mattered as much as talent. T countered by redirecting focus to new music, chart performance, and cultural contributions, highlighting that relevance is maintained through action, productivity, and consistency rather than through reaction alone. 50 Cent, however, remained in control of framing, timing his releases and reminders to create tension and engagement on his own terms. The audience became an active player in shaping the narrative, amplifying the psychological duel, interpreting motives, and debating philosophies. Regional context added another layer, with 50 Cent's East Coast aggression and intimidation contrasting against T.I.'s Southern flexibility and adaptability, reinforcing their distinct approaches to influence and legacy. Both artists' strategies were consistent with their long-standing personas. One thrives on confrontation through visibility and presence, the other through absence and controlled provocation. The tension evolved beyond personal rivalry into a reflection of hip-hop culture itself, where narrative control, memory, and social perception define power as much as music. The discussion extended into broader themes, such as how the past should influence current relevance, whether legacy is defined by action or reputation, and how audiences interpret growth versus continuity. Every post, comment, and clip became part of a larger, ongoing dialogue about fearlessness, influence, and strategy. T.I. maintained focus on moving forward while fearlessly addressing his history, demonstrating a philosophy of ownership and growth. 50 Cent continued to manipulate perception, proving that narrative control is often more powerful than direct engagement. This dynamic illustrated the subtle interplay of power, influence, and psychological strategy in hip-hop, showing that feuds are rarely about resolution, but about asserting philosophy, identity, and authority while letting the audience play an essential role in shaping the story. As the back and forth continued, the conversation expanded beyond the two artists, with fans, commentators, and social media voices shaping the narrative in real time. Every repost, clip, and caption added layers to the story, transforming what began as a potential versus showdown into a broader cultural debate about legacy, perception, and influence in hip-hop. T maintained his composed demeanor, refusing to escalate with anger or defensive rhetoric, showing that facing your past directly is a strength rather than a liability. By highlighting new music, chart movements, and ongoing creative work, he shifted focus from what had already happened to what he is actively building. turning attention into momentum and asserting relevance on his terms. Meanwhile, 50 Cent's strategic resurfacing of archival footage reinforced his mastery over timing and memory, proving that control over perception can be as effective as commanding the stage. Fans debated endlessly, questioning who truly held power and whether visibility or calculated distance determined authority. Social media became a battlefield, each comment and reaction magnifying the stakes and turning audience participation into an essential part of the narrative. The philosophical contrast between the two men became clearer. T emphasizes consistency, visibility, and engagement as tools for credibility, while 50 Cent relies on selective memory, tension, and perception to assert dominance. Both strategies commanded respect in different ways, and the ongoing discussion revealed how power, influence, and legacy in hip-hop extend beyond music into the psychology of control, audience manipulation, and narrative mastery. By now, it was clear that this was never about a versus battle or who could claim victory in a traditional sense. The real power lay in narrative control, perception, and consistency. T remained fearless, calm, and forward-focused, turning potential attacks into lessons in ownership and growth, proving that confidence and composure can outweigh aggression. 50 Cent, on the other hand, continued to manipulate memory and public perception, using archival footage and selective reminders to maintain authority without ever stepping directly into competition. Fans debated endlessly, analyzing each move, each post, and each statement, and in doing so became part of the chess match itself. The contrast between T's visibility-driven strategy and 50 Cent's perception-driven approach highlighted two distinct forms of influence in hip-hop. One thrives by being seen, creating momentum through action and engagement, while the other thrives by controlling what is remembered, shaping reality from a distance. Neither approach is superior, but together, they illustrate how legacy, power, and influence are constantly contested in hip-hop culture. This ongoing tension demonstrates that perception can be as influential as performance, and that true power often lies not in confrontation, but in mastery over narrative and the ability to remain relevant, while others chase reactions. If you've been following this intense showdown between T and 50 Cent, now it's your turn to weigh in. Who do you think really controls the narrative, and who is shaping their legacy better? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you're here for the drama and strategy. And don't forget to subscribe to the Hypespill for more deep dives into the biggest stories in hip-hop. Share this video with friends who love the culture and keep the conversation going. Stay tuned, because in hip-hop there's always another layer waiting to be revealed.